There are many parts of the world where we need to rebuild houses and schools very, very quickly. Unfortunately, we're seeing more and more places like that. We talk a lot about the conflicts, don't we, in the Ukraine and in the Sudan as well. This could be because, as we said, there are conflicts, but also there are natural disasters, as we saw in Turkey. And those are adding cost to what are often already very struggling economies. So what are the solutions to these problems that we're facing at the moment? What's happening in Ukraine is interesting, and it caught our attention because they're trying to rebuild a school using a 3D printer. I've been speaking to Henrik Lund-Nielsen from COBOD, who's in Lviv and is involved in this project.
So 3 to 4 print days, and you have 115 square meters of walls for building.
And the whole process, I'm just trying to get a sense of how much quicker this is than physically building it.
It's fine. It's only a 1-floor school, but it's pretty tall. So they'll go up to more than 3 meters, I think up to 350. So then the printer will be moved, and then they'll print the second part, and they plan on finishing then by next week. Customer in Oman, for instance, 3D printed 3 different buildings at 3 different places, so they moved the printer, and they did that in 8 days. Our customer in Kenya, in Africa, and that is not easy to operate there, they 3D printed 10 houses in 10 weeks.
Can I ask you the cost? Is it a lot more expensive than physically building a house, or is it cheaper than that?
It's cheaper. But what all our customers are realizing is that the first time they use it, it's like any new thing that you have to learn. There is a steep learning curve.
How much cheaper are we talking about? 5%, 10%?
If you look at just, let's say, the wall part, then the savings are definitely double digit, maybe even up to 30 or 40%.
Can I ask you something else? We're talking a lot about the impact of technology on jobs. If we were to see this replacing a huge part of the global construction industry, we would see a lot of job losses, wouldn't we?
Yeah, good, because that's how we become richer. That's the only way.
Well, that's how some become richer, isn't it?
Well, no, that's how we as nations become richer. If you look at it historically, look at what went on with farming, etc. You know, we had whole countries where the farming was the only thing they were doing. But after 50 or 100 years of development, you were producing more goods, farming goods, but you were producing it with 2 to 3% of the labor force. And that is, in essence, how nations become more productive, more rich. They produce more with fewer people, but they start then also to consume more, so you can sell more, and that's why our gross national products are increasing, and we all become more wealthy.
That is when we move towards manufacturing that created lots of jobs. It looks like technology will take away lots of jobs. You talked about Kenya, look at Africa, look at Asia. Huge numbers of people. You need to create jobs there. Do you not fear that technology could take jobs away from them?
I'm convinced it will. If you look at how manufacturing was done in the past in Europe, we had large-scale factories, hundreds, even thousands of employees. The same factory today can produce the same thing with 100 or 200 people, or even produce 50% more. So using the technology will remove jobs, but make the products cheaper. That will enable more people to buy the products, and that will create jobs in other sectors.
Let's talk about a country I know well, India. If you replace the construction industry there, the workers there are not skilled. If they lose their jobs, what will they do? They don't have the skills to do much else.
Well, this doesn't happen overnight, right? This is a slow process. And as this process is developing, then the policymakers start realizing, hey, we need more educated people. We need people that understand CAD, that understand robotics. So they will actually move to higher paid jobs.